All right, so I want to start you on this thing, Splunk Boss of the Sock. This is a capture the flag contest that Splunk wrote years ago, and they've had a different one every year, and the first one I think was the best. I really like it. I used to be a database analyst professionally, so Splunk is just a database. All Splunk is Google for log data. You can search all your logs, but that turns out to be extremely valuable. Instead of having your logs everywhere, like on the firewall, on the server, on the workstation, you forward them all to a central database and then you query them as Splunk, which is very fast and designed for this. So you go to my server, Splunk 2 is up, Splunk 1 is down. I'll have to restore it from backup. So the server is here, and all we use is this one tab, Search and Reporting. This is where you search for things in the database. And so you can search for everything with like a star. And if you do, you'll find nothing because it's by default only lets you search the last 24 hours. And I'm not monitoring any live data, I'm monitoring archived data from many years ago. And by the way, it only lets me go back 5 years, and I can't figure out how to fix that. So after it got more than 5 years old, I just set the clock on my server back. And so it'll warn you when it opens up, this server clock seems really wrong. That's by design. So if I switch to all time and then search for everything, I'll find a lot. And so let me just, I don't want to let this run because it'll take a long time. The time it takes to do a search is dependent on how many things you'll find. So if I go to Search and Reporting, it's going to give me a summary of the data before too long. Here, a data summary. I got to wait for the data to connect. And, well, there we are. I have about 1 million events from 9 years ago. That's what we have. That's correct. And the great thing, the whole point of Splunk is it is very easy to hunt through those 1 million events and find the ones that matter. That's the whole point of it, and people pay a lot of money for this because it is the most efficient at doing that. So, you can look at the data summary and get an idea what kind of data is here. Now, it tells you by hosts. These would be your host names you choose at your company, and that's probably helpful for a company if you know what all the names are, but for us, it's the source types that would matter. And so, you have some Windows event logs, you have some registry information, you have sysmon. Sysmon is amazing. Now remember, Process Monitor took the Windows event log and boiled it down to understandable things like file created, registry key created. Sysmon is similar. It scans the Windows event logs and it creates simple events of only about 10 types. Process started, file created, file deleted, and it gives you all the useful forensic information. Like if a file launches, it tells you who launched it, when it launched, and even the hash of the file. It's specially designed for forensics like this. It gives you really useful, easy to understand events instead of 100 baffling Windows event log events. So it's something you should be running on every server. It's a free Microsoft download. You download it, put it on your server, and it creates another channel of event logs that are much easier to understand. So that's what this is. These are FortiGate firewall logs. This is a web server IIS log. This, for some reason, there's some Nessus scan data. I've never used it. I don't know what that's about. Then there's stream data. Splunk can monitor the live network, but it doesn't record every packet like Wireshark. It just records sort of net flow data, a summary of the stream. And it can do a bunch of protocols. By the way, it has OT protocols like Modbus too, if you turn them on. But here it has the usual stuff, DNS, HTTP, IP, LDAP, things like that. And then there's a Suricata, which is an intrusion detection system that detects known malware signatures on the network, and those also go in here. So those are all the sources of data that exist. Now, the first thing we're going to do is look, by the way, technically, Splunk recommends you should have an index list for your different locations or whatever segments you have, and they should always specify the index when searching. This data only has one index, so you don't really have to specify it, but they say, you know, technically, if you want to be following a best practice, you would put an index of botch 1 on your searches. Now, if I run this search, it's going to find 1 million events, and that'll take a long time. So if I want to get a summary of what kind of data is out there, I can do sampling. I'm just going to do 1 for 1,000. This will make it 1,000 times faster. And I have to streak it all time or I won't see anything because the data is a lot older than 24 hours. So that should start searching. And when it's searching, yes, there we go. It's parsing job, and there it found them. It's done when you see the check mark. So it found 965 events because there really are 965,000. And this number varies some. It's kind of random sampling. So now you can get an idea what kind of data is out here. And here you'll see it in various forms. If I make it a list, it gives you the whole logs here. So you could do a grep search for a keyword in the logs the way you would. That's one possible way to use it. Just search for a word in the logs. But you can also search by fields, and that's much more efficient. All right, and the table, if you expand it, it will show you the fields here. So there's all different kinds of logs all mixed together, and that's what makes it a little tough. So let me go and do something. So let's look at the web traffic here. We talked about source types. Okay, so that would be stream HTTP. Now you can know this syntax, but if you don't know this syntax, you can do it this way. You can go down here. Let's go back to list and don't hide fields. Show fields. And somehow the fields have been wiped out here. That's rude. Let's put it up here. Oh, I can do it this way. Normal. Oh, there they are. These just took a while to come in. Some fields appear. What these are is the fields that people have selected to be of interest, which is a lot of students are using this database, and everybody's always logged in as the admin. That's how they punish you, by the way. The free version has all the features, but you can't monitor very much live data, and everybody is always admin. The lower user accounts don't exist. So that's enough to stop you from using it that way in production. But other than that, you can totally practice with it, which is great. But it does mean, of course, my students trash the server now and then. Anyway, so you can go down here and find stream HTTP, but I'm not finding it. So I'm going to find it in the summary. We'll go back to the raw search page. I can do it right from the summary. I just point this out because the pros might type in things, but mostly use the mouse and pick them off the list. That way you get the syntax right. So this is being a little slow to load. There we are. Then I go to the search tool. Yeah. All right. This is why I had two servers, but one of them is down. I'll restore the other one from backup after the video, so we have two to work with again. And well, I'll give it maybe 10 or 15 seconds, and if this continues to irritate me, I'll stop the video and restore from backup.
Are you able to port that database to another install? That 9 million?
You can, but I rebuilt it. They're actually somewhat different. All right, I'm going to stop the video and restore it from backup so we have two, because this is, all right, down it's on me.